Yeah, game obviously really, really pleased with the victory. Very proud of the guys and the coaches. Um, Game was just what I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be just a knockdown, drag out for 4 quarters, fighting for every yard. It was a physical football game. It was a fast. They got a lot of good players. They're well coached. Um, you had to fight for every inch out there. You had to fight for every first down. Defense had to fight for everything. Going against the Lowry kid who can hurt you a lot of different ways. Um, Play well in the first half. Probably outplayed him in the first half. Was down 14-9. Obviously, we had 200 plus yards at halftime against a team that's given up we had about what they've been averaging giving up in the first half. So we're kind of really pleased with our offense, how we're moving the ball, running and throwing. Obviously, 3 times inside the 10, or 2 times inside the 10, and 1 time inside their territory, and selling for field goals. Obviously, Dom was huge, making all 3. But the flow was going good. We were playing good on defense. They had the one quick drive where they had the 2 big passes, and other than that, our defense is getting stops and our offense is moving the ball. And then we have, our kickoff coverage was bad, and they're good. We knew they were good on ST and good returners, and he bounces it, and they get a 21-yard scoring drive, and you're down at half. But you feel like, okay, this is kind of how we thought the game was going to be. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be tight. We're moving the ball better than I thought. Third quarter wasn't good offensively. We had 2 possessions, 2 quick possessions on offense. But defense did a really good job. Like I said, U-line set the tone to start the second half with a big plan kickoff, and then defense next play. Kuwatch is playing North and South Lake. So we got a good tone set, but we didn't really do anything offensively. And then you look up, and they got a field goal, and you're down 8 going in the fourth quarter against a really team, and you haven't moved it. And then offense comes up with back-to-back huge drives. And you get to 17-15, then you get to 23-17, and then defense gets a turnover, and then obviously Dom's kick is huge to kind of put an end to it, which, again, it was still anybody's game at that point. You're up 6. If he misses it, they got to go 66 yards to beat you. But he makes it, and obviously huge kick. So played a ton of guys. Obviously no Cy Walters, no Nasir Washington, no Uke. Colsley's coming off an injury, he was limited, and obviously no Kenny Tracy, so just the amount of guys that are playing and stepping up and doing good things and contributing, some in big ways, some in small ways. So it was a great team victory. Hard fought against, really, like I said, any victory feels great. You beat a good team, like I said last Monday. If you can beat a good team, it feels a lot better. That felt better. They're a really quality football team and have played really good football this year.
All right, questions?
Yeah, Coach, we had a couple of days to sit on this past Saturday, but what stood out to me the most was that kick from Dom. How big was that, and can you run me through that conversation you had with him again?
Yeah, so again, there's a timeout there, and it's again, Dom's range is like 53, 54. There wasn't much of a breeze at all. So it's just at the edge of his range. Again, like I said, if we're 2-3 yards closer, it's not even a consideration. Just kicking like Dom's a great kicker. Going back to Sloman's days, it was like, I remember a game against Western up there that I went for it on 4th down. I could have kicked Sloman. I got this incredible kicker, and he's only incredible if you use him. If you don't use him, like, all right, we got a great kicker, or whatever. We got a great wideout, but we don't use him. We got a great safety, but and I was mad at myself that day, and I'm like, if there's a chance to put Sloman on the field, I'm put him on the field. I got this weapon. He's only a weapon if you use him, Chuck. He's not a weapon, and I know all these game situations, and so it's like that was in my head again, just like Dom's a weapon. Dom's a great player. He's only great if we use him. He's not great if he just stands on the sidelines, and he is a kicker, so you just can't throw him out there anytime. And you let a great player be great, but we're on the edge of his range. So we went back and forth. I talked to Coach Welsh and Coach Breeken. We were flipping back because there was a timeout, and everybody was kind of go for the kick as long as we thought he could get it there. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, it was never like, we should pooch it. It was always like, let's win the game. Let Dom win it. We got Dom. Let's use him. And kept going back and forth, and I was just thinking, man, that's a long kick. So I'm like, here's a litmus. I'm gonna go ask Dom. In the back of my mind, but I know Dom's such as confident as he is, he's a team guy. And I went down and I just said, hey, because I'd already told him we were going for a field goal. We had decided, we told everybody field goal. And then I just kind of walked down to Dom by myself. I was like, hey, thinking about Puchin. I didn't say I'm going to Puchin. I said I'm thinking about Puchin. I just want to see his response. Like, that was my deal. I couldn't. We're going to let, you know. And he looked at me like I had two heads. Like, let's go. He's like, let's go win the game, coach. Or he's, you know, he said something else at first, but the end was, let's go win the game, coach. And he just smiled, and then I kind of laughed, and he kind of laughed, and he just rolled by me. And to me, if he felt uncomfortable with the distance, because he would never feel uncomfortable with a kick, never, zero chance. If he felt uncomfortable with the distance, he probably would have hesitated a little bit, been like, and if he hesitated at all, I was going to pooch it, because you know what I mean. But he was comfortable. It was 52 or 51 and 11 inches, and so once I knew he was comfortable, then it was just like. And the beauty is, if you watch it on the film, it's awesome, because 52 is a long way. You know, you can hit as good. It takes a while. And if it's just a little bit off, it ends up missing, you know, because it's got all that time. Like, if you're not dead down the middle, you're going to miss it. Like, if you're off center a little bit, by the time the ball gets there, it drifts and it's not on. And he kicked the ball, looked up, turned our holder, and they high-fived. The ball was at like the 25-yard line. I mean, you can freeze the tape when he's high-fiving Pierce, and the ball's halfway there. You know, I mean, literally halfway there. I froze it. I'm like, this is awesome. Our kicker's already celebrating the victory, and you know, so it's pretty awesome. Big time. I mean, especially in that situation. I mean, you're up 6. You're giving them a shorter field. If you don't make it, you know, you're probably giving them 25 yards of real estate. Our defense is playing good. They're not a pass offense. There's a lot of things going through your head. Like, they're not a passing team. Not that they can't throw it, but they're not going to run Brock Lowry down the field at that point. I mean, their offense is kind of this run and quarterback runs, so you know they're out of their comfort zone a little bit, and you got a good defense, and they're out of timeouts, and so it's like there's certainly factors that looks good. You win the game if you pooch it, you know that, but you got a chance to end it, and you got Dom, and like I said, Dom's only great if you let him be great, and we let him be great, and he certainly was great in that situation.
On the 2 late touchdown drives, it just seemed like Daquan's confidence was through the roof. In those types of moments where you just feel like you need scores, what sort of feelings just do you sense from him on the sideline?
Yeah, ready to go. He's so competitive in the ring. We talk about every week how competitive that guy is on game day, and he's competitive all the time. But game day, he just has a different. And like, I learned at Wisconsin, like, I didn't know, like, Wisconsin was horrible offensively, and like he never changed. Like, I kept waiting for him to like get frustrated, exasperated, down, whatever. I mean, it was hard to, you know. And then he kept going out there, and you know, no one was having success on our offense. Nothing was close to going well that day. I'm like, wow, if he can handle that, then he can handle anything. Like, so, even though we would have liked to have more points going the fourth, he was ready to go and he's ready to compete. And like I said, the beauty of him is, even with all his stats he's piled up through the years, like, he never has ever in a game or even in a practice anytime like, hey, can we do this more? Like, it's never like, if we ran the ball every snap and he didn't run, he'd be fine. If we threw the ball every snap, he'd be fine. If we ran quarterback runs, he'd be fine. Like, he's never like, hey, you got to call my number, coach. Like, it's just whatever we're doing, we talk about things on the sidelines all the time, him and Coach Ragland, we're going through things, and it's like, whatever we think's best, that's great. Like, it doesn't, you know, and again, didn't know him, didn't necessarily think he would be, just didn't know. Like, the guy's got all these touchdowns, and a lot of guys are worried about their stats, you know, and he just wants to play and win, and if we think this play is going to win, like, and he'll suggest things every so often. He's like, what about this? And sometimes we go with it. Sometimes I might say, nah. He's like, okay, let's go. Like, if it's not like, oh, my God, we won't, you know. We were at Northern, there's a play in the red zone, and he wanted to do this, and we had some personnel issues, which we had practiced all week with Kenny and Ringer, and now we didn't have Kenny and Ringer. So the other guys hadn't even practiced it. I'm like, we don't. And he's like, oh, I got you. Like, because he wanted to play that. He's like, yeah, we don't have the guys that practice it. It was something a little bit different. So he's like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Like, so it doesn't, the beauty of him is just, he's on the field. He thinks he can make plays and win the game. And obviously in the fourth quarter with the chips on the line, he made huge passes. He made huge runs and executed our offense and was a part of, you know, two really good drives at the end of the game.
You talked a lot about Kenny Tracy and what it's been like to have him, you know, kind of wait his turn. But Jordan Brunson is kind of doing a similar thing now where he spent some time lower on the depth chart and is now one of your top running backs. Just what's it been like to see him, you know, a guy that's been here for a few years, finally get kind of the lion's share of reps.
Yeah, and he had his best game. He only had 13 carries a Saturday, but he had his best game running. I thought he ran good, and then when I watched the tape at night and saw the end zone copy, he ran really good. I knew he ran physical, but he really found holes and really made good decisions and was even more physical when I watched the tape than I could see from the sideline. So just his progression and hanging in there, and a lot of people would have left. A lot of people wouldn't have sat and waited an opportunity, but he did, and he's getting his opportunity. And like we always say, you feel terrible for the guys that can't play, but you never feel terrible for a guy that gets an opportunity. And this kid that maybe would have never got an opportunity, and he's got it, and look what he's done with it and really helped us. One of many contributing, Ringer was really good Saturday. Didn't get as many carries, but his carries were good and does a lot of different things for us, and DeShante's been good too. So all those guys, but Jordan's got the lion's share and really stepped up and shown that he can handle a much bigger load, which he's done a great job with.
Looking ahead to next week, can you talk about the importance of the rivalry with Ohio, both historically and given last year's MAC championship?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of going on. Like first thing is, the things you talked about are huge. The rivalry is huge. The Battle of Bricks. It's like I said, there's so many. We always say the same thing every year. There's so many connections between Miami and Ohio. From we may hate each other, but we're very like places. Like we hate each other because we're rivalries. I don't think we hate each other because they don't believe in the same stuff we do, or vice versa. And then obviously, we lost last time we played. They beat the dog out of us. Like it was a we got out coached, outplayed, out everything. You name it, out organization from top to bottom. Starts with me. I said after the game, like, so we got whooped on both sides of the ball. We got whooped on special teams. We got whooped coaching. You name it, we got whooped the last time we played them. So that obviously, that's huge. That's that's if you have any pride and you got beat up pretty good, then you want to respond in a good way. But most importantly, like this is a monster game when it comes to, we're halfway through the MAC season. Somebody's like, you're all alone at the top. I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter. Like the top, we're 4 games in, guys. Like we could be tied for 5th after this week if you lose. Like it doesn't matter. Like just we've done a good job and put ourselves where but this is obviously a huge game. We knew going into the year. Like you anticipate going into the year, the Miami OU game was going to have conference implications. The Miami Western game was going to have huge conference implications. Miami Toledo game is going to have huge Miami Buffalo. Like we knew this 4-game stretch, like they're the 4 highest predicted teams to win the league. If you go back to preseason, like we got them all in a row, and then it's at a midweek on the road. We got to talk about hard. I think it's 6. I think road teams are like 6-20 right now outside of us in the MAC. 6-20 out of 26, something like that. It's something like that. It's like the road teams are 6-20, I think. It's something like that. It's not good, and it's never good. Then you go to midweek, it gets worse. The success rate of home teams, because it's just hard to travel midweek. It's hard to, and then you're there in the night game, and sometimes it's late. It's just a lot used to be home anytime. Our record at Jaeger's been really good. There's a reason for it. Like it's, if you're a good team, home. You're going to win a bunch of games anyways because we've been a good team, but then you got them at home. Like that's why our record at Jaeger's so good, because we got a really good football team and you got home games. It's much easier to win at home. So going on the road on a Tuesday night, playing a really quality opponent, and then obviously, offensively, they got a great running attack with an O-line in Bangura, and then Navarro adds so much to running attack because he can design runs, non-design runs, and he can go for 50. Like he can score from anywhere. And then passing game, they've got the great receiver, and they got other quality tight ends, other quality receivers, but they're fully loaded on offense, and we couldn't slow them down. We never stopped them. The only thing that stopped them in the MAC championship game was the game ended. That's how we stopped them. Like we didn't stop them the whole day, and they've been very, very prolific. Then they're always really good. Hauser does a great job with the defense, and they're always really good. And they play north and south, and they're super aggressive, and they get after you run, they get after you pass, and they're always, again, I think they're very similar to us. I know that doesn't always make the fans that hate, it's like I said last week, I watched Western play. I'm like, God, they play like us. They run the ball, they play defense, they play good special teams, they play really hard, they play really together. You can see it on tape. Like that's how we try to play. We, if we're right, that's how we play. I watch OU on tape. I'm like, they're really good on offense, they're really good on defense, they play really hard, they're really solid on special teams. You can tell their kids really play for each other. You can tell that they play, they stick, they play through tough times, they play through bad times. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's how we try to play. Like, you watch them, it's like looking in the mirror. So, and I'll probably be saying the same thing next couple weeks too. Like, these top teams, we're all kind of, we all kind of try to do it the same way, and so it makes it fun and challenge. Like I said last Monday, it's why you come to Miami, to play in the games like this. We got 4 straight. I'm not sure we love the idea of 4 straight games like this, but so that's the schedule. We didn't get a choice in that, and you got knocked down, drag out with Western, and we're beat up, but the extra couple of days will help us, but it's going to be a knockdown, drag out in Athens, and there's a lot of things to be excited about this one for, all the things you mentioned and more, and so and then you got all the families that, I don't know how many families that I know that somebody went to OU and somebody went to Miami. Sometimes they're married. There's so many ties, and then even coaches and coaches I really get along with are OU alums. It doesn't mean I don't get their high school coach, whatever. So there's so many people in this area that somebody has a tie to both places. Just about everybody. Liam Kaufman, who's near and dear to us from our cancer walk. We've been with Liam since he was little. He was just there a week ago Thursday, and his dad got a job at OU, Like, again, it's life, you get a good opportunity, and you got to support your family. And it's like, even that, like, we go on the lights, like, I work at OU now. I'm like, yeah, we still like you, we still love the Kaufman family. We're not going to, but he's like, well, Liam and his sister kind of boycotted me for a while because, I'm like, I got you. I appreciate their loyalty to Miami, but you got to also do, So it's just nonstop. No matter where you go, there's so many connections to the two, and they're 2 great places and 2 great football programs, and 2 places. And again, do we always do it the right way at Miami and OU? No, but there's 2 places trying to do it the right way. That both schools are trying to do it on and off the field, be student athletes and play professional athletes from both schools and have a great life after football. So it's what makes a rivalry so special when you got a lot of commonalities like that. And it's, now you got 2 teams that have been really good in the league for a while. So we got the best record in the league over the last 8.5 years. The team behind us is OU, So that's the next closest. So.
Knock on wood, it seems like it's improved a little bit as far as the turnovers, and last week's game, 1 turnover between the 2 teams. There's only, I think, a couple 3 penalties, between the 2 really good teams playing together. So I guess you'd like to continue with, keeping the penalties down and turnovers non-existent.
Definitely keep the penalties down. Sometimes a little product of the crew, Sometimes crews like to throw penalties. There's plenty of things you can call every game. I really appreciate this crew. Let us play and let them play. And it was a clean game. It was a hard-hitting game. But if you want to look for a holding, you get a holding on every down. Like, if you really want to. If you want to look for something small, you can find it. So that was really good. But 2 good teams that are trying to play discipline. They know what's at stake. They're trying to play smart football, both teams. And obviously 1 turnover between 2 teams, and it was a strip sack late. So it wasn't even a careless play, like a bad decision by a quarterback or a running back, receiver, or somebody not having good ball security. It was actually just, we got to him and he's in, his arm was almost going for, we barely Trick got to him in the nick of time and got the ball out. So even the 1 turnover was just really a great play by Trick, and not really, you would say, a bad play by Western Michigan. And then we won the chunk play battle, 9-4, plays over 15 yards. And if you have 5 more chunk plays than your opponent, and obviously 2 of them or 3 of them, are the two big plays to Cam, and then DQ's last run in from 18 yards out. So not only, again, the chunk plays in general we know cause winning or cause losing, depending on what side you're at, but when you get them in the 4th quarter and you get two on your last drive, that 1 to set up the score and 1 for the score, those are huge plays. And so, yeah, winning chunk plays and winning turnovers, keep turnovers down. It was like I said, a lot of people said, and I agree with, that was a really good game. That was a really good football game. No turnovers, no low penalties. Everybody, not a lot of sloppy, bad execution. Yeah, there was a couple mistakes on either side, but it was kind of like both teams are pretty good out there, and it was a hard game to be a part of. It was an exhausting game, but it was a really well played game.